Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Monday View and the view this week is the Caran Pablos. This is a 120 set of pencils. They are a lovely pencil. They are a really nice pencil. I'm going to pull up some information. Just for some reason I didn't do this beforehand. So the Caran Pablos are a hexagonal pencil. They are a 120 set, and just trying to see and they are a 3.7 millimeter core. So they're a smaller core than, say, the Caran Luminance and that sort of thing. They are really good at getting into those tight corners. Each of the pencil has their name on them. So this one here is ivory black, and they do have a number on them. I don't know if that's the pencil number or what, but it says that they are creamy, soft, and water resistant, which is something that we will do a test for and figure out. The Caran Company was founded in 1924 in Switzerland. Cool. And it is a French translation of the Russian word for pencil, Caran. Interesting. Little bits of interesting information. Always good to find interesting information. Let's see if there's any more information about the pencils themselves. No, other than that, it doesn't say whether they are a wax or an oil. I do believe they are a wax-based pencil. Okay, so prominently an oil-based pencil, which is good to know. I thought for some reason I thought they were wax, but no, they are an oil-based pencil. A lot of people like to compare the Pablos with the Prismacolors, but they're very different. I find that the Pablos, like I said, with being an oil-based pencil, are not going to match up to the same thing as a wax-based pencil like the Prismacolors. I don't know why everybody wants to compare everything to Prismacolors myself, but that's just me. Yes, so let's do some testing and take a look at these, and then of course we're going to do our Art Matters by Neil Gaiman, because your imagination can change the world. The illustrations in this book are done by Chris Riddell, the same person that did the illustrations in 100 Days of Hugs or 100 Hugs, the last book that I finished from Chris Riddell. The only book I've ever finished all of. I did 100 Days of Hugs. We have approximately 30 pictures left in here, maybe, before this book is finished as well. So we will be continuing with that. So let's grab our swatch chart here. I'm going to close this. We'll take a look at the pencils a little closer in just a moment. I'm going to zoom you in just a touch so that you can see the swatch chart. As you can see, we've got our whites into our cream tones, into our brighter yellows, into our orange, into our red oranges, in our brown oranges, into our browns, into our reds and pinks, into our red purples, into our blue purples, and then of course into our blues. This set has a lot of blue, as well as blue greens into our greens. So one of the things that I do believe this set, in my opinion, is lacking is more red. Obviously, I like to have a good selection of red. Um, so it's lacking in the reds a little bit, and I think it's lacking in the pink and peach tones a little bit. Other than that, I think that they have a really good selection of greens, blues, green blues, because those two are different. And of course, our purples and that sort of thing. I think they have a really good selection in most of the colors. The only area I really feel that they are lacking is the reds and the pinks. All right, so I have the testing thing set up here. A weird bump in my page. So I'm going to zoom you in. I've got to find my water brush. It's around here somewhere. My desk is a complete and utter disaster zone at the moment. So please forgive me if I lose things because yeah, I've got a very large thing of markers on my desk, which are not normally on my desk. So everything else has been moved and spread all over the place. And now I can't find anything. So, there it is. So we've got our water brush, we've got our Caran blender, and we've got our pencils. So let's grab some pencils. We need canary yellow. So let's grab canary yellow. It should be this one. Nope, it's lemon yellow. That should be this one then. So we're going to grab canary yellow. We're going to grab ruby red. Should be this one. And we're going to grab just straight blue. Blue, which is right there. All right, so I'm going to set these on the side. We're going to be grabbing them a little bit later. Like I said, my desk and my work area is very, very messy right now. All right, so I'm going to move you in a little bit closer so that you can see the work area. Now I'm going to sharpen this blue because it needs to be sharpened. So as you can see, you can get a very, very fine point on there. Sharpen the yellow as well. Now make sure if you are using a crank sharpener like I do, that you wipe off the pencil because whatever color you sharpened before can transfer onto your pencil. Alright, so we're going to start with yellow in our water section. Now they do claim that these are water resistant, so we will see. And make sure that I cover the entire area building that color up. I really actually enjoy the Pablos. I was so happy to see them. It's been a while since I've gotten to color with them. It's been a while since I've had time to color with them. Now we're going to go in with the red. And again, building that color up, making sure that it's a solid area. The reason why I do a water resistancy test is not because I use a whole lot of water on my pages. However, I do use things like Stickles, Winkostella, sometimes I use watercolor and that sort of thing. And those are all water-based products. And if they are not water resistant, they will move with those products. and you can end up with bleed over. You can end up with it moving into an area you don't want it to move into, and that sort of thing. So it's best to check these things out before you start adding water to them. If you don't do these tests on the back of your pages, of course you don't have to, but if you don't do these tests and you are going to use a water-based product, I suggest taking a piece of paper and just coloring a small area with the pencils that you're going to be using in the area that you want to be adding that water product. The reason why I say to do it on that area is because different colors have different pigments, which the darker pigments will move more than the lighter pigments. Now I'm looking for my dust brush here, and it's right in front of my nose. Let's dust off any excess there. Now we've got our water brush, and as you can see, it's got water in it. Yeah, it's got water in it, and it is wet. So we're just gonna, so no movement on the yellow. No movement on the red. And a little tiny bit of movement on the blue. Now that may be the ink from the pen that I used. So we'll let that dry and I'll take a look closer. No, that's a little tiny bit of movement. Not a whole lot, but there is a little bit. All right, now we're going to do the same thing here for the smudge. The reason why I do a smudge test is because I have found out and I have noticed while I color that my hand tends to pick up and move different pencils on the page. So that may just be the chemistry of my hand, but I do a smudge test just to find out if my skin is going to react with the pencils and move them across the page, because I have ruined a few pages not checking this movability just by rubbing my hands back and forth as I color, because I do sit with my hand directly on the page. Again, I'm just filling it in, making sure I've got a good solid area, the same as I would when I'm coloring. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I got some housework done, and that's about it. That was the end of my weekend. Housework, lots of housework. Okay, so I'm going to take my finger here and I'm just going to rub it up on the pencil. And as you can see, we have smudge movement. So what I'm going to say here is I can't rub my hand across these without them moving. So be careful if you do have different chemical balances. Well, everybody has different chemical balances in your hands. Be careful if you know that you're have the potential of moving pencils. Do a little smudge test. Check your pencils and find out if they're going to move with your hands. All right, now we're going to pull some pinks and we're going to do our 3-color blend here. Let's see. We're going to start with a dark pink. So we're going to start with, what's this one? Rose pink. Salmon. And this one. Okay. So we're going to start with rose pink as our dark, salmon as our medium, and granite rose as our light. I got itch on my nose, sorry. Just going to sharpen this so that we can get our color built up there. Now, because these are an oil-based pencil, you do build the color. You don't smush it together. So you can put down your layers as you go. Like so. Today on Monday Live, we will be continuing with the Ohuhu art markers, the alcohol markers, finishing up basing our page, and then we will be coloring over top of the markers with the Caran Pablos and putting in the details, the shadows, correcting any skin tones, and that sort of thing. Shannon was using them on her channel today and actually showed me a place to get a one-page swatch chart, so I have re-swatched them all on one page. Makes it so much easier to see. Alright, now I'm going through with the salmon. And as you can see, they just blend together so nicely. You get a good coverage and a good blend. I really like the way these blend. Sorry about that. Alright, and then we're going to use the granite rose. I forgot to turn off the sound on my phone. Oh well. So as you can see, they blend together very nicely. You definitely get that gradient blend. Just building that color up. Now you can add more at this point if you find that, you know, it's a little bit lighter than you want it to be. Just start all over again. Add your dark pink, which is rose pink, is the one I'm using here. Just remember to feather it out so that you have something to blend into. And then we're going to take our salmon. Could never pronounce that properly. You know, I've always been told it's salmon, but I've always had that conflict of, but that's not the way it's spelled. Again, just feathering that in to that light area. And then we're going to take that light pink. which is the Granite Rose. Now, if you completely layer up your pencils like this, you don't need to use a blender. You can definitely use the pencils themselves to blend. So as you can see there, we have a very good gradient blend from our dark into our medium into our light. Now we're going to do our rainbow blend. Now the rainbow blend is to see if the colors mix together and blend together to create other colors. So we're going to start off with our red. So this again is ruby red. And because these are an oil-based pencil, we will be building that color up together. So with oil-based pencils, they don't mash together, so you're not going to be able to put a heavy layer of one color and then a heavy layer of another color over top of it and have it fully blend and create that color. It'll still create the color, but it won't be a complete blend. Alright, so I've got a tail here for that yellow to blend into. Now because I've put down the red first, I'm going to get a red-orange in this area. Now we're going to do the yellow, and we're going to start back here where we're going to blend that green into it, or the blue into it to create green. Now we're starting to go into our red. Now I'm going to finish the yellow area first, because if I don't, I'm going to be dragging that red into it. Just going right over top of the area that I already put down the red. Building that color up. Now we're going to put a little bit more red in there. And we're going to drag that red into the yellow. Because the yellow is down first on that other area, it's going to give us more of that bright orange that we're used to, and that I personally prefer. Alright, and then we're going to take our yellow again, and we're going to blend that together. So as you can see, we definitely get that red to the orange red to the orange. Now we're going to go the other way with the blue, and we're going to create green. So we're going to take our blue, and we're going to put down our blue, and then we're going to bring that into the yellow. Now because I've got the yellow down first, the green is going to be a little bit of a lighter green. Just building that color up a little bit. And then we're going to go into the green. Like so. And then we're going to add some yellow. And we're going to build that color up. So as I go further into the blue with the blue as the base, with the yellow, you'll see that the green is darker, where when it's over top of the yellow, the green is lighter. But definitely does turn to green. So we definitely have a gradient or a rainbow color movement there. All right, so let's try our blending. So I'm going to do our red and our dark pink and our light pink. And we're going to see if the blender will cover the white spot that's left and bring those colors together. Oh, that's the... All right, now we're also going to test and see if the eraser works on it, because that was a boo-boo. So as you can see, you can definitely erase it as well. All right, so now we're going to use the rose pink, and we're not going to put it right over top. We're just going to put it right next to it. And we will see if the blender will move those two colors together. With the Caran blender, you do have to make sure that you have enough color on the paper for the blender to actually move it. If you don't have enough color on the paper, it's just going to lift the color up. All right, and then we're going to put in our light. Like so. And then we're going to take our Caran blender, and this is the Caran Bright Stick. And we're going to start with our lightest color first. And it definitely does fill in the white spot. And you do get that soft blend. So it does connect them. Now we're just going to go the other way and bring those colors together. So it definitely does soften up the edge, and it does remove the white spot, which is what the blender is good for. And it does brighten the colors up a little bit. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to use our white pencil as our blender. So I'm going to use the red. Now with the white pencil, if the white is extremely opaque, like for example the Prismacolor white pencil, you will find that your reds and deep colors will change. They will lighten. So if you don't want that white added to your color, you may not want to blend with your white pencil. All right, so there's our red. And then we're going to go with our deep pink. And because we are going to be using white, I'm not going to use the lightest pink. I'm going to use the salmon. As our lightest color. The reason for that is because the white is going to tone that color down, and I don't want it to be too light. I don't want it to be so light that you don't see it on the page. All right, now we're going to take our white. Make sure I have the white. And again, we're going to start here on the edge, going the opposite direction. And as you can see, you can definitely see that white in there. And you'll be able to see it even more in the red. The white definitely does blend all the colors together. However, like I said, it does mute the colors down quite a bit because this white is quite opaque. It's not extremely translucent. So what that means is that I can say color over a blue here, and you can see that white on top of it. All right, so the conclusion of the testing is they do seem to be fairly water resistant. There is a little tiny bit of movement in there. They are not smudge resistant for my hands. So my own hands are, of course, have a composition that is going to be different than everybody else's because my skin is not the same as yours. Nobody's skin is the same as other people's. That's one of those things about humanity is everybody's different. So my skin does make it smudge, so make sure that you do a little bit of a smudge test if you do have that issue of moving pigment with your hands. The 3-color blend did beautifully. Of course, it did do the rainbow blend. Works very well with the Caran blender, but also works well with the white as well. So altogether, I think other than the smudge test, it pretty much passed all the tests. They are not overly expensive. For a 120 set, well, I guess they're a little expensive. I don't remember them being that expensive when I bought them. So currently they are $239.82. Wow, I did not realize that they had jumped up that high. I remember them being much cheaper than that. Just checking through and seeing if there's any listed at a lower price. But on Amazon, they are approximately $240 for the full Pablo set. That's crazy. I did not realize they were that expensive. Did not realize they were that expensive. But they were much cheaper when I bought them, I'm pretty sure. Or when my husband bought them, I should say, because I do believe he bought them for me for a anniversary present. Let's take a look and see. Yep, nope, I haven't bought any Caran. So my husband must have bought them. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, that's... yeah, so he must have bought them because the only thing I've bought Caran is the paint palette and, of course, the blenders and the Caran paint brushes. So he has purchased all the other things, including the Pablos, and I don't know where he got them from. But I will put a listing for the Pablos below the video if you choose to purchase them off of Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate, and of course it will be an affiliate link, and I do get a small commission at, of course, no cost to you. All right, so now we're going to move on to the Neil Gaiman Art Matters, because your imagination can change the world. And we are currently on Make Good Art. Oh dear. Well, so as you are remember, we did IRS on your trail, Make Good Art. Now this one is Cat Exploded, Make Good Art. The poor little kitty, and look at the terror on his face, And the little mouse back there with the little plunger for the explosives. That's horrifying. Funny, but horrifying all at the same time. All right, so we're going to put our a clip on there so that it lays flat while I color it. And then we're going to zoom you in and wrong way. Move you down so I can actually reach the book without reaching across 3 layers of desk. All right, so because we did the trash can orange over here, we're going to do him as a gray cat. So we're going to use some grays. We're going to use our grayish gray. It's interesting. So actually we're going to use charcoal gray and mouse gray and some ivory black. Grayish gray. That's interesting. Steel gray. Okay, so there's our mouse gray. And we're going to use ivory black. And we're going to use slate gray. I just want to see if that actually says grayish gray on the pencil. It does. No, it says grayish black. I don't know what got into my head to put grayish gray. Very, very, very silly of me. All right, so we're going to base with the mouse gray. So I'm not going to sharpen it. And we're going to add some white as well for Mr. Kitty Kitty's face. Go up into his ears. Again, this is just the base coat. So we'll add more colors to it to give definition, as well as his stripes and that fun stuff. We'll be adding some white as well. This kitty has a really long neck. Oh, there goes that phone again. All the different notifications. I've got to move this because my hand is rubbing on it and it's driving me crazy. We're going to come up under his chin with the gray, but we're going to leave some areas for some white. And I'm just going to very loosely cover his whole up his paws. Okay. Now we're going to start adding color. So this one is slate gray. We're just going to put in those kitty kitty definitions there. So that's where all his stripes are. And the shadows. And again, I'm doing it very, very loosey-goosey, because that's the type of picture it is. You know, it's a sketchy picture, so I'm not worried about making sure that I get everything exactly precise. Otherwise, it would drive me crazy. I'm just saying, because, you know, because of the way that the artist has drawn it, it's not ever going to be exactly precise. So trying to do that, trying to make it precise when I can't draw, kind of defeats the purpose of coloring somebody else's work. And I don't want to make a mess of what the artist has created. Because, yeah, I will. I am not good at drawing at all, and I would just make a big old mess of it. And we're going to come up under here. And around his eyes. Just to make them a little bit wider, because he is frightened. By the looks of him, he has not slept in a while. Just going to spread that out a little bit, and we'll blend it in with some of that lighter color. Now we're going to take some of the black. What we're going to do is whiskers. And around his eyes a little bit more. Just giving them that sunken in kind of look. I'm going to sharpen my pencil a little bit here. Concentrating on his top of his head here. Missed the gray on his paws. So we will have to go back and do that. But that's okay. It's not like I've lost the pencil or something. Going through with the black, putting a little bit of black through that dark gray. Just getting in a few hairlines here. Like so. So as you can see, you can definitely get a good point with the Caran Pablo, and it holds its point for quite some time. So you're not having to come back through every few minutes as sharpening. You can usually go pretty long time without having to resharpen, which makes them last all that much longer. All right, come down here. Going into that shadow that I already put in there with the gray, just extending it out a little bit more. Darkening up. Like so. Okay, now we're going to take that gray again. Okay. Add some stripes to his paws, and you can't see his toe beans, so can't add any toe beans in there. All right. And we did his nails. Now we're going to take some white. We're just going to blend those grays in. Like so. Now this side here, this part here, I want to have that white, more white color than gray. So that's why I'm going over that light gray as well. Just to lighten that gray up just a little bit. All right, now for his eyes, we're going to take some yellow. We're going to do the whole eye in the yellow. And then we're going to take some red. And we're going to go around the center of his eye there. Just to this a little bit. Little bits of bloodshot eyes. Then we're going to go around the edge. Like so. Then we're going to take some pink. Take a darker pink first. And then a lighter pink. For the inside of his ears. And his little nose. And there we have a Mew Mew. Now we're going to do our little mouse, and we're going to do our little mouse in browns. So we're going to grab, let's grab Hazel. First of all. Let's see, is this one Hazel? I think so. Yeah. And we're going to cover our little mouse. Such a, he looks so evil, you know. It's supposed to be a little mouse, and he just looks so diabolical. And then we're gonna grab this one here, which is Van Dyke Brown. I'm just gonna sharpen it because he is a little tiny mouse. And we're gonna put in our shadows. Maybe he's a rat. Could be a rat. Because rats are, you know, a little more likely to be doing things like this. Yeah, let's make him a rat. He does have that pointy nose, like a rat. Alright, I'm going to use a little bit of raspberry red for his nose and his ears. And then for the boom box, we're going to use some carmine. Cover the whole boom box with it. And dark carmine. And I'm going to need to sharpen that. You know, I color these books and I wonder what the artist is thinking of what I'm doing to his book. Now be very careful when you sharpen your pencils. This is not coloring book paper, as I've been telling you for ages now. So the pencils, if you sharpen them too sharp, can go through the page. So be careful with that. All right, now we're going to take this yellow. Maybe not. Take this and put color in his arm there. And then we're going to take our black. We're going to draw our line, and then we're going to draw the movement. You know how it crackles and down the line there. So it's got a little ways to go before it gets to the kiki. And there we have our exploding cat. Oh, that's crazy. All right, so cat exploded, make good art. So again, this is Chris Riddell and Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman is the writer of this book, and Chris Riddell is the illustrator. I'm going to zoom you out so you can see a little bit better of what we did. So there he is, about to get exploded. Next week we will be doing this one here, and yeah. Then I will be on vacation for 2 weeks. I will take this book with me, and I might get a chance to do Art Matters on the Monday that I'm away. However, I can't guarantee it. So if I am not able to get to it, it's okay. It's only one Monday, so I think we will be okay. Next Monday, we will be coloring this one here. All right, guys, with that, we have completed our Art Matters for the day. We do have Monday Live tonight at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. We will be using the Ohuhu markers as well as the Caran Pablos on this lovely page right here. We will be finishing up the butterflies and basing all the leaves with the Ohuhu markers, and then we will go over and add our shadows and highlights and stuff like that that we need to add with the Pablos. This week's pencil, of course, is the Caran Pablo, which is 120 pencils. There are some metallics, metallic silver, gold, and bronze. It has a really good range of colors, both in our browns as well as in our yellows and blues and greens. I do believe that they're a little bit lacking in the reds, but that's my own personal preference as well. They did pass the water test. They moved a little tiny bit with the water test. They did smudge with my hands. They do have a fantastic ability to blend, not only with our 3-color gradient blend, but as well for our rainbow blend, which is blending colors together to create a new color. They work well with the Caran blender, but they also work well with the white. So either which way that you prefer to blend, it will work well. They are expensive. Just saying, they are approximately $240 for the whole set. And if you have full set syndrome like I do, they're expensive. So I will leave a link below the video if you want to take a look at them or put them on your wish list and keep an eye on them and see if they go down at all, that sort of thing. Of course, any purchases you make after clicking an affiliate link does give me a small commission. Of course, these do not increase any sort of purchase price. There is no cost to you for that. So we will be using the Ohuhu Honolulu series, Honolulu B series markers, as well as the Caran Pablos on our Scott Howden page called Butterflies. This is the cover page to the book that this is in, which is the first grayscale book. All right, guys, with that, thank you all very much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artists that you enjoy. If you want to support the channel via financially, you can definitely do so by joining the Patreon, by purchasing something from the 3D print store, or becoming a Pixie on YouTube, or just by hanging out and coming and saying hello and hitting that like button. And of course, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until this evening when we see you again for Monday Live, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye for now.